Alright guys, last night I finished up leveling this all off, so I'm pretty close to grade, which is what I like to do before I get to plumbing. And typically when I'm building for other people, I won't do the plumbing. However, in this case I am doing it, so I figured it was a good opportunity to show you how to DIY your own underground plumbing for a house on a slab or a post frame with a slab. And I've done my personal plumbing for my whole life, and all my remodels, whatever the case may be. You may live in an area where you're not allowed to do that, but fortunately for me, I have been. All right, so with that being said, we will start out with kind of the things you need. I have a laser level, but that's not necessary. If you have, in my case, I have the shell up. So if you were to have the shell up, you could run string lines across, which I'll do where the finished walls are gonna be, so I can make sure I get my fixtures right. I do have plans for this actual build. So it has measurements for where the toilet drain, sink drains, stuff like that go. However, when you're running venting, you need to know where you can run a vent up a wall. This is a 4-foot or a frost wall that sits on a footing, so you can't just go into the outside wall and up. So you have to find an inside wall that you can run your vents up, and I'll cover that. That'll probably make more sense once we get to building the walls and you see us run them up. But there's a solid concrete wall, so we're unable to run the vents up the outside walls. So I guess let's just start. We'll go through some of the basic things you need. This is all pretty close to grade. I'll show you here. My finished concrete is going to be right here, and then my insulation will be right here. So it's going to be a 5-inch slab. So that gives you an idea what I'm working with, and you can see that, you know, if there's a toilet flange here, I couldn't run a vent off and get up through into the wall and up. So I have to find an inside wall for those. So I guess step one is to get your inside of your house, structure, whatever it is, close to grade, because once you get all this plumbing in, I don't like to be running a bunch of heavy equipment around. Now you can bring in rock to get it up perfect. You don't want to just be in here tearing it up with a skid steer once you get this in. I've got my plans laid out here. This is the one with all the walls, and then this is actually the one with the plumbing layout. So it's got like your sink, toilet, tub, kitchen sink. So it looks pretty simple, but you got to run vents off all these, and so you need to know where the walls are. So I always have my other usually when I'm doing this for myself, it's on a piece of grid paper that I've drawn up. Got a couple levels, bunch of string lines, hopefully most of my fittings, and then schedule 40 pipe. The next thing you need to determine is where is your main plumbing leaving the building. In my case, there was a pre-existing septic tank, and so this is where I stubbed in a 4-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe. So my pipe is this is where all of everything leaves, exits the house to go to the septic tank. This is a situation where you have a septic field, but nonetheless, if you're hooked up to city sewer, you still have a place where it leaves the house, and that's here. And I already determined how low that needs to be. And then what I like to do to make this as simple as possible, and you'll see this when I mark it out, is run this main pipe straight parallel with the outside walls. Then when I'm breaking off to all my fixtures, toilet sinks, showers, anything, all I have to do is use a long turn elbow or like a Y in a 45. And it makes life simple. You don't get into 22.5s and weird angles. If you come in at an angle, it just makes it real difficult. So If for some reason your pipe comes into your structure in an angle, you want to square that up with a wall right away. That's just my opinion. That's how it can be the simplest as possible without a lot of frustration. So now we've covered that. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mark where my main line's gonna be and where my lines shooting off of that are gonna be. And I got a trencher, so I'll get that unloaded and then we'll start trenching. All right, so I guess before I mark those lines, I have 3 4-inch PVCs coming through right here, which are for our incoming water line from the water line that's out at the road. Then they have another well that they wanted access to. And then there's another one right there that's actually covered in mud I have to dig out, is a spare. I always like to put a spare in. So these come through the concrete wall, and then there's 2 45s. You don't want to use a tight 90 because you won't be able to get your pipes through, but if you use 2 45s, it's a nice long sweep and you can push your pipes through. So I'm going to go ahead and get those stubbed up here, glued in, so then I don't have to worry about this getting covered in. The other thing we have is we have another one here that I can run a 3-inch schedule 80 for the electrical service, and the electrical service pops up in a wall somewhere right here. I don't have that pipe, so that won't be done today, but I will trench this today. Now we're going to mark our main line across here, and all I'm doing is measuring off the concrete wall to the center of my pipe, and it looks like I'm roughly 81.5. So what I'm going to do is just work down this wall, making some lines with my spray paint, and then I'll mark it all the way down. Then I know I'm running parallel to my outside walls, which will make life so much easier if you do that. Alright, I'm super thankful that I had this trencher because I knew this was going to happen. There's lots of limestone in there, but we got the main line all trenched in, then we got this first line that goes over to this bathroom trenched in. So I'm just going to kind of smooth this out, and then we're going to work from this end to that end. And we need about 13 inches of rise going across here to have proper slope. Here where we are, for all your waste pipe, it's 1/4 inch per foot. So every 4 feet is an inch. So we're just going to smooth this out, and we're going to start here and work that way. All right, guys, we have the first bathroom done. And so just kind of walk you through it. Comes out of the wall there. We got a Y and a 45. You can use a street elbow here if you're right close. We had to extend this out a little bit to kind of go up and over. And you got to use what is available too. When we come over, we go over to a tub, so we'll actually box this in. I think on my house I did a 16 by 16 inch box, and that's so after you set your tub, you can get in there and hook all this plumbing up. I always put the trap on just so I know that it's going to work. I do not glue it, but I will leave it there. We got some metal stakes just to hold it. We come off, 45 off to the sink. That comes up in a wall, so the vent will go all the way up. And then this is the toilet. We got a Y and a 45, 3-inch Y with a 2-inch coming off of it for the vent. That goes to the wall. This is our stub out for our toilet. So now that we got all that done, we will head down the main line. As you can see, we've set out the fittings so we know where we have a junction and we don't miss anything. And it's always good to go back and check to make sure all your Ys are facing the right way, because that could be disastrous. And once we get all this done, I'll extend this out and put a cap on it, and then we'll fill it with water and make sure it's not leaking at all. Worked our way all the way down to this last bathroom and utility area, which I got to take this trencher back tomorrow morning, so I got to get these lines trenched in. You can see this is the main line all the way down. That's washer, dryer, utility sink. That's the kitchen sink. Drain and vent will go, into the wall and up. No, so we've worked our way all the way. We just have a master bath over here to plumb in, a drain in the utility room, garage floor drain, which I just trenched out over here. So we're going to get those in right now so I can get this backfilled so I can get the porch ready for concrete. Alright guys, we will walk you through what we got going on here. All the rough in as far as the drain and waste pipe is done. So Back here, we got the master bathroom. The main pipe exits the house down there, comes all the way up through here. This main pipe continues and will go up and be the main vent through the roof. So all the vents inside the attic will attach to this, go through the roof. This will also serve as the double sink drain for the master sink. That is the master shower vent. This is a custom shower. So if any of you guys follow my YouTube channel, the master shower I just did has the same type of drain. So I set this like an inch and 3/8, inch and a half lower than the finished concrete, and then I'll have the concrete guys slope the shower to get my first slope here. So I'll mark on the concrete where the shower starts and ends, and then tell them how far out to kind of just slope this down here, and that just saves some time later on. This is a special drain. This will all get duct tape over it. So come down here, we have the master toilet. We can't run the vent off into this wall because of the concrete, so it comes up the utility room wall there. That's the utility room drain. Got a washing machine drain and vent, utility sink drain and vent, kitchen sink drain and vent, exits the building right there. We got a tub shower. This will get boxed in and framed in. I'll show you that when we get it done. And then we have toilet, drain, and vent. And to vent it, just take a Y45, cant it up so the vent is above, and then it'll go over to the first wall and up. And then we got a sink, drain, vent. So the first step I did, I actually figured this out a long time ago when I poured the concrete walls, is how much slope I needed from here to there, which I think was roughly 13 inches. And as I went along, I just used a quarter bubble. So just when I put my pipe down, I make sure I have a quarter bubble, which is roughly right there. And as you can see, I ended up I'll be just below the insulation right there at the last part. So it's going to work out nice. All these are for incoming and outgoing water lines. So the main water line will come in there. Gives me options to take water lines in or out. Got a spare. Schedule 80 electrical conduit will come in here, pop up in this wall. I'll show you that when we get it. And then we got a garage drain, which I have to get the drain part yet, but the pipe's in, goes through the wall, and then it extends out there. So now we're good to go on our concrete porch here. We'll get this squared away next time we go to the store to get that piece, conduit. Now it's time to start running water lines. So we're going to get after that. Alright guys, we have all the underground drain piping done. We've checked it, made sure it was good. We got sand over the top of it. Now we're going to run all of our PEX water lines, and I use this insulation, and I don't split it. It's got a little perforation at the edge, so it makes it easy to tear if you want. But I slide this on the end, then tape these together, and that way your pipe's insulated, and it also kind of protects it while it's in the ground. Once you pour the slab over this, it's not going to be a lot of pressure because that slab spreads the weight out, so it's not like there's a ton of weight on any of this stuff. But this is a nice way to insulate and protect your pipe. So we slide it all the way on, tape them together, and then we'll cover this all with sand. So we got a lot of this to do. I mean, not terrible, probably shouldn't take us too long. I got to build a box for the tub, and I got to build a spot where all the PEX lines will attach to so they can pour the concrete around it. So hopefully by the end of the day we'll have all this done and have this all brought up to grade. And then tomorrow we'll put all the plastic insulation and maybe even some PEX in-floor radiant heat lines down. Okay, so we got our plumbing here. This is for a bathroom. I like to run my water lines up through a PVC pipe. So I just use a 2-inch PVC pipe with a long sweep 90. And the pipes come in, the insulation kind of tucks in the end, and then we fill it with spray foam, and then they pop out. That way when the concrete gets poured, it's never in contact with these tubes. You know, just that way no one accidentally, you know, hits them and hurts them while they're pouring the concrete. That's the toilet vent, toilet. This is a tub shower, so I built a 16 by 16 box. That's my plumbing pipe where my trap will get connected to. I will have to dig this out just a little bit, but I'm waiting until I get the concrete poured. I'll pull these pieces of plywood out, and then we will insulate this after we get everything hooked up as well. But then 3-inch line runs here to where it exits the house, and then the main 4-inch line goes all the way up through. We ran all our water lines in here, covered them with sand. Got refrigerator, water line there, kitchen sink, and then we have utility sink, washer and dryer, and then we have all the master bathroom stuff over here. So right here is where all of our PEX lines come in. We got them insulated. We brought them up in the insulation. I built this little box. The concrete will get poured up to this box. We'll protect this from the concrete by covering it with something. It kind of looks like a mess now, but it'll look nice and neat and clean once it's all done. I like running an individual line for each sink, each toilet, because it's all under the slab. So there should never be a problem, but if there is, you have multiple lines going to the same bathroom, and it'd be easy enough to fix. Brace this all up so it's good and solid, so when they pour the concrete it doesn't get bumped and out of place. Alright guys, so that's going to be a wrap for the plumbing, underground plumbing, rough in, that covers all the drain and waste pipes, and then all of the supply lines for sinks, bathtubs, showers, all that kind of stuff. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'll answer them. And don't forget, we have a new Patreon. It's a build group where once a month we talk about different topics to help you guys build your own dream home. So check that out. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.